Welcome everybody back to Texas Tom American Truck Simulator Vlog 11, Week 11. A lot of expansion in Week 10. So we're up to 8 drivers this week, sending them out, hoping to find some Pioneer loads. Things are going really well so far with the new drivers, and the Odessa garage is working out nicely as far as looks like our drivers will be taking exclusively Pioneer loads out, which is great. So, week 11, we started with $106,000 in the bank. Again, we spent over $1 million for this expansion. We got a lot of plans for another major expansion as well in the works. Just got to build up some capital. We took 24 deliveries, contract deliveries for Pioneer. We were at 10 was the minimum. Now with 8 drivers, we're up to 15. So no problems there. I can see that number probably going up here as our drivers get experience. So we have 3 garage locations: Fort Stockton, Corpus Christi, and Odessa. And we'll see how the hired drivers panned out this week as far as money. So you can see $330,000 I brought in on 12 loads. That's half of what we made as a company driver. But this week I drove my own truck, Blue Bandit, the newest truck to the fleet, and used company trailers. So I purchased a low boy at the end there. So I'll have a low boy going into week 12. But I did use company trailers. That made things easy. Or easier, I should say, as far as getting backhauls, because I didn't have to worry about specific load types. But that's not something we want to continue doing. We want to have our own trailer and get that owner-operator mentality. You can see not a lot of trips to the garage this week for our hired drivers. Felandia, only 5 loads, Marion 1, and Valentino 3. Felandia bringing over 50,000 in. Valentino bringing over 30, and Marion, not sure what's going on there. Thinking about letting Marion go. For some reason, has a tendency to take loads that are far away, not maxing out the long distance XP either. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. But if things don't pick up there, we might be letting Marion go. Our newest drivers, the newest additions to our company, you can see there Stella with 2 loads, Ray with 12, Malcolm with 9, and Yuri with 7, each bringing in about $20,000 for the week. So almost $100,000 there, which is great. But we probably have probably close to $1 million, over $1 million in truck and trailers with them. So they're going to have to spend some time before they start paying for themselves. Heading into week 12, here's the game plan. We're going to have 4 drivers in Odessa. These are our veteran drivers: Felandia, Mary, and Valentino. And Stella had some XP points when she joined us. So she was able to get that fuel tanker certification. So we're going to send her to Odessa as well. They'll be using exclusively fuel tanker trailers, taking crude oil out of Pioneer and Odessa. I'm the only person at Corpus Christi right now, so that garage is not very efficient. I did pick up the lowboy trailer, so I'll be using that come week 12. And then we have our newer drivers in Fort Stockton using the variety of trailers: 2 container carriers, 53-foot drop deck, and a lowboy there. So we want to get 1 more driver for Odessa, get 2 more drivers for Fort Stockton, maximize those garages. You can see we added a column there. We're looking to expand again. I have an idea where we're going to expand. but going to wait before we pull the trigger on that. And again, we want to maximize these garages. We want to get them full so they can become efficient as far as the earnings go. Okay, so let's take a look at the log books and see where everyone went for the week this week. Okay, so here's my logbook for the week. Put in over 4,300 miles this week. $76 rate per mile. That is awesome. Hopefully we can keep that up. That was pretty good. You can see a lot of Pioneer loads here because we went there with the company trailers. Our truck, but company trailers. But a really cool load on Friday. I took some Western Star trucks out of El Paso and took them back to Corpus Christi. That was pretty cool. Hauling, I believe it was 3 Western Star trucks with our Peterbilt, gone down 20 there. Was it 10 or 20? I think it was 20. Showing off our Peterbilt there. But not a very busy week, but we did travel a little bit, out to El Paso, Galveston. So we did expand the map a little bit, but not a very busy week. We took Sunday, once we got back, we took a quick load from Halliburton out to Lone Star Cotton. But once we did that, we just took the rest of the day off there. Deadhead was down because we used the company trailers, so that took deadhead miles down, which that probably helped drive that $76 rate per mile up. Usually we're around 50 something, so we'll see that rate per mile most likely go down once we get our lowboy trailer moving in week 12. All right, let's look at the other drivers and see where they traveled. So our hired drivers, not a lot of loads going out this week. You can see the Odessa garage is working out great as far as our contracts with Pioneer, because they are taking that crude oil out of Pioneer and taking it across the map. So you see Fellandia went to the Port of Houston, went to Wyoming, to ExxonMobil. That was really nice because then he was able to get a backhaul of gasoline from ExxonMobil to the BP gas station in Odessa. So hopefully this is a lane that he keeps using. Would like to see those rates up. I'm actually surprised. I thought the crude oil shipments would be more than this, but if they can get backhauls back, that's great. 50,000 for Fellandia this week. Let's see where Marion traveled to. Again, not much to see here. Marion started the week deadheaded back from Great Falls, Montana, and then took a crude oil load out back to Great Falls to the FedEx up there in Montana. 23,000. That would be great if we could get another backhaul back for that same rate. $40,000 for the week wouldn't be horrible, but since we have to account for the deadhead, that might not be a great lane. So hopefully Marion can find a different lane. And let's see, Valentino had a little bit more going on this week. Let's see what Valentino did. So Valentino also went to Rawlins, Wyoming twice. Was able to get that backhaul of gasoline the second time, but deadheaded the first time out. Again, the first time going out paid $8,400. Second time going out paid $10,000. 12 grand coming back, so $22,000 round trip. If we could get that twice, again, that'd bring us in about 40,000. If we could get that Odessa garage, pulling in over 100K a week, that would be great. So we'll look and see how this lane pans out. And let's see what the Fort Stockton garage was able to come up. Okay, so Stella started the week at Fort Stockton using the container carrier for most of the week, and then the low boy towards the end. Stella was able to XP, gain XP. So at the end of the week, we did move Stella to Odessa. She jumped in the Brown Bomber 389. She jumped into the fuel tanker trailer, and she took crude oil up to New Mexico. So looks like we're going to have to maybe increase her range with her XP. Unfortunately, not able to bring anything back from New Mexico, but she did get 2 crude oils, 2 Pioneer contract loads before the end of the week. Before that, she was pretty busy, back and forth from New Mexico and Texas, Texas to Texas. 19,000 for the week, not bad. We'll see, hopefully, again, with those crude oil deliveries. Would love to see those Odessa drivers pulling in, 40,000 a week. 35 maybe might be more realistic. But we'll see. If they're going to Montana, they're going to Colorado. Not going to be visiting the garage much. So hopefully either more jobs, more consistent jobs, or high-paying jobs. That's what we're going to be looking for. So let's check out the other new drivers. So Ray in the 389 Orange Crush brought in about 17,000. Only had 2 deadhead loads for Ray for the week. Ray stayed pretty busy. I like that. So he was able to contribute 4 of the Pioneer contract loads this week. Seems to be a pretty efficient guy. So we'll see how that pans out as we continue forward. We got 2 more drivers left to check out. Here's Malcolm's log. Malcolm brought in 20,000, like that, for Fort Stockton. That's a great week. Only 1 deadhead trip for him at the beginning of the week, but he was able to get some nice loads there. $2,000 paying out. Like to see him take the low boy more. So we'll see how that pans out, especially now that Stella left that garage. But Malcolm seems to be doing all right in that 389 Black Betty, bringing in 20,000 this week. And our last driver, Yuri, let's see how Yuri did. So Yuri, not as busy as Malcolm, but almost brought in the same amount. Gone out to Amarillo, Austin, Laredo. Only 1 deadhead. That was at the end of the week. But I'm thinking about getting rid of the container carriers, even though they do provide the power generator and construction house loads that do come out of Pioneer. If we can get the low boy loads or the low boy trailers and get boom lift loads, those pay a ton. If you see, he got a XTO energy load out of Fort Stockton, Amarillo, Texas. That paid $7,500. So that was almost half of his earnings for the week came from that 1 load. So I'm really thinking about just scrapping these container carriers, put them on the market, get rid of them, and then maybe fill up Fort Stockton with some drop decks and low boys, and hopefully that will help us bring in some more revenue. All right, so that's the hire drivers logbooks for the week. Let's look at our expense report for week 11. Okay, not as aggressive as last week. We only spent $464,000 this week. Most of that came from the new truck that we bought, the Peterbilt 389, and then also the fuel tanker trailer we added. That was to get Stella over to Odessa. And we did have some truck service this week. We did have an issue on one of the loads where we had a wreck, had to pay $38,000 to get that repaired. But you'll see at the end of the week, our loan payment is up to $14,858. We did pay some of the loans back at the beginning of the week. We did repay those, but we are up there at $14,858. So Weekly income was 513,000. Expenditures 464. That leaves us with 154,000, almost 155,000 to start week 12. And we got a lot of big plans for week 12. So stick around, check and see where we go from here. We're looking to expand. We're looking to fill our garages. You know, we started with just ourselves and the Black Betty Peterbilt. Now we got 8 drivers, 8 trucks, a multitude of trailers, and we're looking to expand. We're looking to take more contractual loads for Pioneer Natural Resources. That's the game plan. Again, we'd appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, let us know what you think. Been taking some feedback that we've been getting from the message boards and trying to incorporate some things. We do plan to do a ride along eventually. I know that seems to be one of the biggest requests is a ride along. But again, I do all this information live as I'm playing. So there's a lot of stops, a lot of pauses, and I just don't know if people will appreciate that. But we'll definitely give it a go here in the future. Again, thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you week 12.